Do you guys remember that crazy cross-country road trip that Brian, Noah, and myself went on? We traveled like 5,000 miles across the entire country in an RV. And it was an insane trip. We held crocodiles, saw a Cadillac graveyard, walked on Mars, found trees that turned into rocks, played with more crocodiles, went to Vegas for Noah's birthday. I broke my toe in Vegas, it's a long story. Went to Red Rock, swam with sharks, got some beef jerky. We even made it to Yellowstone, but it was closed. Saw some moose, found a garden filled with snakes. We're pretty much the only people at Mount Rushmore. Touched a dinosaur and much, much more. Yeah, that was one of the craziest trips I've ever been on in my entire life, but there was another person that was on that trip with us. This is Anthony Maglio. And guys, Anthony is one of my best friends in my entire life. And believe it or not, he's one of the people that I started photography with. And the coolest part was that Brian gave me an opportunity to hire Anthony, and he actually left his family in NJ, moved to Michigan, and started filming with Brian and myself every single day at the Reptarium. And although this epic RV trip would be one of the craziest adventures Anthony and I went on together, it definitely wasn't our first trip. So Anthony and I met on Facebook looking to be in a band, and we had a band and it was called Relentless Tides. The page has no music on it, but it's still over on Facebook, which is crazy. Me, him, and a kid named Tyler were jamming every so often, but really photography was becoming a bigger part of my life. I picked up a camera for the first time when Maria had moved out of state to go to school. All that time and energy I was giving to my significant other now was just boredom. So the camera really came in clutch, and pretty soon after that is when I met Anthony. Anthony is a ride or die. We started taking photos together, and he literally quit his job to go on adventures with me every day for the entire summer before I left New Jersey. That summer was wild. We went to hundreds of waterfalls all over the East Coast, pretty much from the top of the Northeast all the way down to Georgia. Every morning we would wake up, check all trails, and find a new place to go. It was invigorating, and it was a great way for me to kind of say goodbye to the place I've called home for over 25 years. Seeing all the marvelous landscapes that New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Georgia, North Carolina, and Tennessee, all of those places had to offer. But unfortunately, the summer of waterfalls had to come to an end as I was moving out of New Jersey and heading to Florida, where I would eventually meet Savannah from Gatorland and Brian, and my life would change forever. So although it was really sad leaving my friends and family, I knew that both Anthony and I were gonna fight really hard to find a way to work together in the future because we just worked together so well. When Anthony finally moved out to Michigan to help with everything Brian and I had going on at the Reptarium, it was perfect. We all became great friends, but unfortunately some unforeseen circumstances popped up in Anthony's life, making it so that he would have to move back to New Jersey, which was devastating, obviously for him, but for me as well. You know, this is like my best friend, and we had so many dreams of working together, and it just seemed like those dreams were about to take a back seat for quite some time. But not without one final crazy adventure. Shortly after a podcast, Anthony and I decided to take a drive up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. One of the most beautiful areas around, and man, the drive was crazy. I've only been to the UP once, and it was in the winter, so we didn't really know what to expect. All we knew was it was going to be dark before we even got up there. It was raining and storming out, and the anxiety of where we were going to sleep for the night was definitely closing in. But that didn't stop us. We wanted to take this journey no matter what it had in store. And it was crazy to see areas in the daytime that Brian always talked about, like the Mackinac Bridge and Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, and all that stuff. But it was definitely anxiety-ridden knowing that this may be one of the very last trips that Anthony and I went on together. By the time we got to where we were going to camp, it was completely pitch black. There was no lights around, no people around, and we pulled up to a site, got out of the car, and started trying to figure out where the heck we even were. Which was easier said than done considering all we had were headlamps, but we found a little bit of a map. We got an idea kind of where we were at, but we didn't know where we were gonna sleep. All we know is gonna be somewhere off trail in the middle of the woods with literally nobody around, and nobody knows exactly where we're at. Guys, real quick before the rest of this story takes off, I want you to know something. I was a Boy Scout. I've been camping a few times, but I've never been like real camping. It was always on a campsite. It was always with parental supervision, and this is not what that was. But I trusted Anthony, one, because together we knew we could do anything, and two, he's a very talented and fearless outdoorsman. I'm gonna put a card right here. Go check out some of his videos. Not only is he an incredible filmer, incredible photographer, musician, rock climber, slackliner, he's also just great at being outdoors and catching incredible glimpses of wildlife. And every day that I would see him post some crazy stuff, whether he was with me or 1,000 miles away, he always was inspiring me to push to the next level. And yeah, this camping trip was no exception. So we continued through the woods looking for a place to set up. Once we found an area with some flat ground, Anthony got to work setting up the tent. He was good at doing this stuff and I was not. Like I said, I was a Boy Scout, but Anthony was really doing this stuff. So it was awesome to see him get the tent all set up with pretty much no hassle whatsoever. And the good thing is we're both filmers, so since he was busy setting up the tent, I got to get some awesome B-roll. And it was so cool to see Anthony get the tent all set up. It looked great from far away with the lights on and all that stuff. Once everything was set up, it was time to get inside the tent and try out some food. And I'm not a camping food guy because I'm a pretty picky eater.
All right, so we're about to cook some dinner. We got some beef stew from Mountain House, as well chicken fried rice from Mountain House. I mean, I've tried a couple of these and they were pretty gross and some were pretty good, actually. Gonna give this one a shot. We're gonna cook up some food, go to bed, and wake up to a banger morning, hopefully. All right, let's get into this. Ooh, this looks honestly pretty delicious. First taste, let's give it a shot. Pretty banging. Really, Jay, you gotta really try this.
You're gonna get us eaten by a bear, bro.
Dude, take a bite. Let's see.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
the food wasn't even that bad, but with our hunger quenched, it was time to lay down for the night and try to get a good night's sleep wherever the heck we were. It was so crazy going to sleep that night. I mean, we heard coyotes in the middle of the night. Like you heard me say, you're gonna get us eaten by bears or whatever. You know, it was awesome though. We knew we were somewhere up high and we could feel the waves of Lake Superior clashing along the walls of wherever we were sleeping, and you could feel it through your entire body. It was stormy, raining out. It was just a crazy outdoor experience that I will never forget. And it was something we both needed for this send-off of like, all right, you know, we're always gonna be brothers, but there's gonna be a chance we're not gonna be working together for a long time. And this trip helped strengthen our bond even more, knowing that one, we could trust each other, two, we were gonna work together well always, and three, that hopefully someday in the near future we would be able to find some way to be a team again. And when we woke up the next morning, it dawned on us that we were very high up above the normal tree level. You could see some water down below us, but we had no idea how crazy our campsite was. So it was time to send up the drone. I'm not an experienced drone flyer by any means. I hope you guys enjoy the shots we got. It was cool to get some other perspectives of me flying the drone. Anthony crushed it with this B-roll. Once the drone got into the air, it was clear that we spent the night at somewhere pretty special. Welcome to Pictured Rocks, National Lakeshore. Miles and miles of cliffs along Lake Superior, waterfalls, and much, much more. You don't think of a lake as having waves that would rival the ocean, but Lake Superior is a beast. I've heard of 10 to 20 foot waves in this place, and that's crazy because I grew up on the shore and you barely saw something like that there. But it was awesome to go down off of the cliffs and onto the beach where we could explore a little bit of what this place had to offer. Once we were done with the shore, it was time to lace up our shoes and get hiking to get further along the lake shore, because supposedly there were really cool rock formations that we could get to. So we grabbed our gear and we headed out for about a 9-mile hike along the shore, onto the cliffs, and eventually through the forest. Every step we took we knew was closer to the last chill sesh that we would have for a while. So we made sure to take our time and really live in the moment. Some of my favorite pictures I've ever taken, pictures that actually hang up in my parents' house, were from this trip. Whether it be the waterfalls or cliff sides of the National Lakeshore that is Pictured Rocks, this place was stunning. But But that was it for our trip. There wasn't much more left to do but pack up and go home. We knew that somewhere and somehow we would find a way to be together again and be able to actually do all of the plans that we talked about years and years ago. Hopefully that plan's coming true right now. Wow, guys, what an adventure that was, and I'm so happy we got to go on that one. But we've been on plenty of adventures together, Anthony and myself, and we always support each other's ongoing hobbies. We are constantly changing people. Both of us find a way to get good at something, and then we want to get good at other things as well. I believe that everything is everything, and the more you learn about one subject, say guitar, the better you get at filming, and the better you get at filming, the better you get at playing your video game that you like to play. It's all adding to the neuroplasticity that's opening up your brain and allowing you to do things you've done before in a completely different way. But why am I telling you this entire story about Anthony? Well, the truth of the matter is that yesterday I posted this here. I was having some pretty bad anxiety, and I wanted to share that with you, not so that you guys would comment and say nice things, which I appreciate, I really do, but I wanted you to know that it's okay to have anxiety, and that every day people all over the world have anxiety and still try to push through to follow their dreams. So why was I having such a hard day yesterday? So it turns out I started my own business, which I'll get into details a little bit more in the future. I was supposed to go to the bank and like get a business checking account or whatever, all this adult stuff that I have no idea what I'm doing. And it turns out that I had to wait anyway. I didn't have all the stuff that I needed to even get it done, but I was so anxious in the bank waiting just because I'm like, oh my God, this is real. Life is taking off. You know, you guys have given me so many opportunities that now I'm able to do all these things, but sometimes success can be just as hard as failure. You know, you don't expect things to work out well, especially if most of your life you've had things work out poorly. So it's difficult. I'm doing my best to get through it, but I wanted to share with you guys that yes, I was super anxious, but I was still following the things that I wanted to do. I was still at the bank waiting. I did get home and still finish editing the videos for Gatorland, which by the way, that video dropped today. Make sure you go to Gatorland Vlogs and check it out. You're not gonna wanna miss this. I know the Gatorland crew is so excited for all the stuff we filmed, so make sure you go check that out. Starting a business and all this stuff can be scary and difficult, but the reason I wanted to tell you the entire Anthony story is if everything goes the way that I planned, I think Anthony's going to be a huge part of all of our future. You know, he's going to be a huge part of my life. He's going to help take on some of the load of editing and filming of all the incredible people we're going to be working with, as well as helping with some extra content for this channel here, because there's only so much I can do. You know, it's like when I'm traveling, going, filming, editing, then trying to get my own stuff out. I don't want things to fall through the cracks, and I don't want the videos on this channel to become second to the ones that are done for a client or something. He is going to be a huge part of everything we got going on, and I just wanted to give you a second to get to know a person that means so much to me. Other than Maria, my mom, my nan, cousin Stevie, and a few other people, of course, Anthony is one of the most important people in my life, and I really truly care about him, and I hope you guys will too. But oh wait, speaking of nan, I gotta show you guys something. Now you guys know that my mom got me that awesome camera for my birthday, which by the way, thank you guys for your early birthday love. My birthday's actually July 29th, so you guys are a little early, but I appreciate all of it. I should have probably clarified that, but I just said birthday gift, and I should have said early birthday gift, but I'm new to this, so I'm sorry. I'll accept all of your early birthday wishes as if it was the day anyway, and I really appreciate it. It made my entire day. But Nan, she watched the vlog and she got me an octopus, dude. How cool is this thing? And Loki wants it, but Loki can't have it. It's not his stuffy, but I just thought you guys would think that's adorable, but it's not the only thing I got as an early birthday gift. Do you know what this is? This thing is crazy. Maria got me this from TikTok shop, believe it or not, but this is a hang drum or a hand pan. I've wanted one of these forever. I love the sound they make. They're kind of like a portable steel drum, if you will. I gotta get better at it, and then I'm gonna show you guys some clips of me playing this thing because it sounds so beautiful. Thank you for all your happy birthday wishes. Super excited about this thing. We're starting a new business. We have friends coming back into our lives. We're traveling, going to Gatorland, been to St. Louis to go to the Reptile Room. We're actually gonna be heading back out to St. Louis and the Reptile Room and Tarantula Cribs and see Tarantula Cat here coming up in August. And the coolest part about this, guys, is the family's coming with. Maria and the boys are all coming to St. Louis. My first trip I've ever gotten to take with all of them. And I am freaking out, man. I've been gone pretty much half of the last month, and as much as it's so exciting to create content with some of our best friends on the planet, it's also difficult, man. I love my family. I love my comforts of home. I love having my guitars. I love making music at home. It could be a challenge for sure to figure out a way to make both perfect. It's gonna be so cool to have my family with me. Now I don't have to feel like anything's pulling me back. You could just be in the moment completely. So I'm super excited. Cannot wait to head out with the family, but for now, speaking of out.